Hi, my name is Sharon Kabubi and you're watching AILTV. Hi there, my name is Sharon Kabubi and this is an introduction to a new program we're calling Let's Talk Uganda. And in this introduction, we would like to discuss the significance of understanding identity. In this day and age, identity becomes crucial as more and more of us become engaged with identities on different levels. And this can look like identities in our local community, our national identity, our global identities, in identities in the workplace, how you interact with others. And so for this reason, we're interested in understanding what identity means to us as young people, particularly focusing on the young people of Uganda. Ugandans in Europe and Ugandans in Africa. What does identity look like to you? So, for example, myself, my name is Sharon and both my parents happen to be Ugandan. However, I was born in Europe, specifically in Sweden, in a small town called Fittja. And this was somewhere central or an urban area in Stockholm. And in this area, it was populated with a number of immigrants, to say, and my parents were one of those. And so, having been born in Sweden, I actually now live in London, UK. So Southeast London is now a central place full of immigrants from all over the world as well. We've got Caribbeans, we've got Africans, Asians, people from all over the world. And so I'm interested in understanding how my identity, being Ugandan, being part Swedish, and then now taking on a British identity, living and working here, what does identity mean to the rest of us? I'd like to give you an idea exactly on how complex the topic of identity can become, especially in this day and age. So myself being a first generation European, let's put it like that, my parents were both Ugandan. They met in Sweden in the 80s. And so now I became the first Swede in the family. Technically, and I say technically because my Swedishness extended to that of what I felt, my passport. My passport, I hold a Swedish passport. And so I'm technically, politically, I'm a Swedish citizen. But the reason I say this is in my childhood growing up, both my parents having migrated from Uganda, grown up, raised as Ugandans, they understood themselves as Ugandans. And so this naturally ended up bleeding into my own understanding of myself. And one particular example I remember is my father. My father is a proud Muganda man. And he was recently, before moving to Sweden, he was in fact in the military. And so having his stories and him explaining and describing the Uganda that he knows and his own relationship to the country and the politics, I naturally became very engaged and curious as to why Uganda is the way that it is, and hearing it from his perspective and then comparing that to my own experience as a Ugandan in a foreign country, in what he would claim a foreign country. And I say foreign because to him, Sweden was a home, but a temporary home. His original home, he would claim, is Uganda. And so this ideology became ingrained in my experience. And so wherever I moved, whoever asked me, I would refer to myself as a Ugandan. And upon moving to the UK, this didn't change. In fact, I now became Swedish. I became Swedish Ugandan. If you ask me, where are you from? Oh, I was born in Sweden, but I'm actually Ugandan. And the reason why this became important was because I moved to the UK and went straight to primary school. And this was the last year of primary school, where you're in year 6, essentially. And there was a difference in the school kids would notice me as a foreigner being my accent. I sounded different. I I thought differently. My ideas, everything, how I expressed myself was different simply because I had my Swedish childhood. Now, growing up and working in the UK, having my education in the UK, I've also come to realize that part of my identity also takes on a level of Britishness. But having said that, this doesn't take away from my sense of Ugandanness. My culture moves with me wherever I go. When you first look at me, you see a Ugandan woman. And the reason I say this is, apart from the way I look, my hair, my skin, I still feel as though my ancestry, who I come from, where I come from, the people before me, have led the path and have paved the way for me to be the next expression or the successive expression of what it means to be a Ugandan. And so with pride, I know that whatever I do, I'm representing Ugandans wherever I am in the world, regardless of my passport, regardless of my accent. I am still a Ugandan at heart. And this experience and this how I experience myself is even enriched further when I go to Uganda. And understanding my interactions with my family and discovering the nuances. And even when I go to Uganda, for example, I'm still referred to as a Muzungu. And this is because they see their westernized expression. But on the inside, I don't feel this way. I feel like I'm a Ugandan. And so this is why it's interesting for us to understand really the depth of identity and how it leads us to think of ourselves, and it, in a sense, determines our sense of self. But why is that so important? Why do we need to care about who we come from, where we come from? And so these are the topics we'll be discussing on Let's Talk Uganda. If you have any questions for myself, if you have any questions, please drop them online and we'll be in touch. We'll be happy to discuss and continue this conversation, because this is by no means the end. We're only just beginning. We look forward to hearing from you. Thank you very much. And my name is Sharon Kabubi.